I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard. And he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. But I think he fired me up to continue to play a lot harder. I thought we got a lot better after he did that, so I want to thank him.
What happens when the WNBA's biggest new star meets a rule book that stops talking all of a sudden? Season looked at first glance like an overnight fairy tale sold out arenas. TV numbers the league hadn't sniffed in 2 decades, and a merch line that crashed the Fanatic servers, but rewind the tape. And you'll see something stranger every time Clark crossed half court. The whistle seemed to vanish tonight. We're diving into the footage, the numbers and the backroom politics that turned the 2024 season into the most controversial year of officiating the WNBA has ever seen. And when you hear what's changing for 2025, you might wonder if the fix came just in time or far too late. 15 minutes after the Fever drafted Clark, the team website crash ticket demand didn't just break franchise records, it broke the league's servers, national broadcasts that once drew 200,000 casual viewers. Suddenly flirted with 2 million in 8 short weeks, 9 separate TV milestones. Tumbled local economists cheekily renamed the Fever's new $78 million practice palace. The Clark Bank, because merch and sponsorship deals alone were going to cover the mortgage from Indy to Seattle. Every night, Usher started with the same warning, no walk-ups. Every seat was taken, but while fans talked about impossible step-back threes, few noticed that Clark was already paying a hidden tax for all the attention. Imagine a league's dream situation. When a 22-year-old rookie player steps on the court, ratings go up 170% overnight, which is the biggest year-over-year jump in WNBA history. One analyst looked at the numbers and found that Clark was responsible for 26.5% of the league's total economic activity last season. Clark tax spread fast courtside seats for her preseason homecoming in Iowa, where she played against Brazil's national team, were resold for $4,000. With that much momentum, you'd think the league would gift its new star with bubble wrap. Instead, most nights you could hear Clark hitting the hardwood and the officials remaining silent. But the numbers only hint at what the cameras showed next. Basketball is supposed to reward aggression, draw contact, earn free throws, and pile up points. Clark finished in the top 5 in usage, but only made 3.7 trips to the line per game, the lowest rate for any high-usage guard in a decade. How come the officials ignored the whistle? Stat sheets rarely feel personal, but this one does. 17% of all major fouls called in 2024 were on Clark, and 4/5 of those came from the Chicago Sky. On August 18th, when Clark hit a long shot, the unfair treatment reached an absurd level. He slapped the base of the backboard. 3 booms of sound. She was disrespectful to the game, so the ref scolded her. 2 possessions later, she took a shoulder to the ribs, but there was no call. Defensive players hit her 30 feet from the basket. They weren't dirty, they were just being practical. Why not hit the rookie if history showed that the whistle wouldn't blow? This reasoning reached its peak in 3 jaw-dropping plays that went viral within minutes.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly...
June 1st, Chicago plays Indiana. So hard does Kenneth Carter hip-check Clark off the ball. Officials don't call anything about the collision on TV, and 24 hours later, the league quickly changes it to flagrant. It was too late. The clip had 20 million views by Breakfast Game, one of the Fever's first playoff run. Digi the ball is swung at by Carrington. When her finger hits Clark in the right eye, he scrunches up his eye, which is already swollen. Many people are still seeing the close-up in black and blue on their social feeds. June 13th in Seattle. Clark crosses over. The slow-down whistle blows, and there is an offensive foul. The replay shows maybe a feather's worth of touch, and the announcers ask, "Where's the foul?" 3 plays, 1 pattern, and 0 protection. Fans yelled at the referees, but the real answer began in crowded hotel meeting rooms that were far from any courts. These rooms weren't alone. They were part of a story that many fans already knew. The refs had one set of rules for the rookie sensation and another set for everyone else.
Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard, but somebody viciously clotheslined her we're not getting a call for that.
So why didn't anyone in stripes step in? The answer starts before the refs even set up. Put your foot on the floor and do the math on this pay. An NBA referee can make up to $500,000 a year, but a WNBA referee's pay is more like a high school principal's, and that's just for the summer. Because of this difference, most W officials work for the NCAA or FIA during the off-season. A new 4-year CBA in 2024 raised pay and added daily feedback through the NBA's refs grading system, but the positions are still seasonal and there is a lot of turnover. Monty McCutcheon, the league's vice president of ref development, admitted that the W grew faster than our pipeline could handle. With only 3 officials on each game and few replays available, missed calls weren't outliers. They were statistically certainties. And when that certainty meets a player like Clark, who changes the rules of the game, every no call becomes a news story. To fix that weak spot, the league had to spend real money and time together, which they don't do very often. One wealthy owner thought they were both overdue. Still, Clark set a record in 1976 by being the first rookie to make 100 three-pointers and hand out 300 assists. Insiders saw the bruises that were building up with each drive. Her free throw percentage was the 25th best among guards who played half as much as she did. Michael Jordan asked the league to keep its money safe. Steph Curry compared her shot profile to the next big thing. But when Team USA made its Paris list, Clark's name wasn't on it officially because she had too much experience. Unofficially, it wasn't on there because some executives were afraid the media storm would drown out the veterans. Stephen A. Smith, Tony Brown, and half of the NBA users on Twitter criticized the choice, saying that USA basketball missed out on millions of possible viewers. Michael Jordan called the choice short-sighted. Stephen Curry called it an own goal for business. Charles Barkley never didn't say that people should be held accountable, and Clark set up a tea time. The scandal made her even more famous, and every hit she took became another example in the Protect the Star debate. The LPGA's Pelican Pro-Am usually has polite crowds and no live TV coverage. Clark's entry turned that script on its head. Golf Channel canceled its plans to show her front 9, and drone cameras followed every practice swing. Ticket sales tripled, and executives at the WNBA realized that their star player was about to make another league rich unless they did something. Sponsors talked about athletes with dual sport contracts and the worst-case scenario. Clark's fever came to Dallas in May and decided that golf's rules were safer than basketball's hits. This meant that the Wings had to move the game from a 7,000-seat gym to the Mavericks' 20,000-seat arena. Kathy Engelbert secretly called it the Caitlin effect and joked that her expansion slide deck now rode itself. At the same time, the 2-time champion Las Vegas Aces lowered preseason tickets to $19 and still had empty seats. Las Vegas sportsbooks called it the Clark Delta because secondary market prices changed 430%, depending on whether number 22 was in the building. Fans and experts started to ask an uncomfortable question. How does a league grow if its reigning MVP can't draw half the crowd of a rookie on a sub-500 team? Sponsors looked on with worry. No star, no surge, but a surge without a protective whistle that's just one rolled ankle away from disaster made every sold-out venue worry about what would happen if the face of the boom got hurt. The golden goose turns to dust overnight, and Clark felt that pressure not only in her bruises, but also in the silence of her own locker room. In an Honest podcast interview, Clark said she often sat in pre-game meetings wondering if she should speak at all. When you walk into the room, some vets are amazing, and when you walk out, some vets are competing for the same job. So do you lead? Do you wait? During her first month, she said it was like trying to read a room while running a marathon. But small steps toward improvement helped. A veteran post pulled her aside to show her how to handle a bump and turn it into a one. A late-night film session where coaches rewound harsh no calls to teach counter moves. And just as the shy rookie disappeared, a phone call shattered the calm. The league announced the fastest policy change in its history, with 12 referees hired full-time and paid year-round. A new replay hub modeled after the NBA's command center. Live review for landing zone contacts, automatic ejections for retaliatory cheap shots, and a mid-season mini-camp to reset whistle consistency. The league also quietly raised the fine for any clear push on a shot. The players hope this is enough.
You have to be great as a ref. You have to be consistent.
Clark joked at Media Day, "I talked the coach into limiting me to 2 technicals the next year. I'll pay for your lunch." But behind the jokes is a serious question. Can a newly professionalized whistle keep up with a player who seems to be living one step beyond the sport's current imagination? If the new rules for officiating are followed, the league will skyrocket, a rookie will rewrite the record books, and the whistle will finally find its voice. The WNBA's long-promised boom could be unlocked by Clark's second act. If they don't, the league risks proving its harshest critics right. Women's basketball can catch the world's attention only to lose it in the margins between a forearm, a whistle, and a missed call. This season, everyone from Vegas odds makers to 9-year-olds wearing replica number 22 jerseys will be watching that tiny gray-orange cylinder in the referees' mouths. Because the future of a sport is sometimes decided not by the next deep three, but by the breath the referee chooses to take or hold.